This is the MOBC, my own boxing community. Please like, share, and subscribe.
What's up, everybody? I want to talk about Shakur Stevenson and his next fight coming up on the undercard of Bivol and Beterbiev. You know, I criticize the PBC a lot for giving fighters an opportunity to fight for a world title after a loss. And I feel this in that Spence, and now Errol Spence apparently, I think he's gonna fight Fundora, I believe, right, for his title. And then we have Tim Tszyu going to fight. I don't know who he's gonna fight for a world title. And even though they are quote unquote elite or stars, I don't think they should get a title shot after a loss. For me, I don't think so. I think they should fight again, maybe once or twice, win, and then get a title shot. Kind of work your way back up to a title shot. That's what I would rather see. Joe Cordina, he's not a big star at all. By far, he's not a big star at all, right? If you're a casual boxing fan, chances are you're not going to know who he is. But his last fight was at 130 pounds, and he lost by stoppage. Now, he's going to get a chance to fight for another world title coming off of a loss I disagree with. This time in a higher weight class, and he's probably going to make way more money than he made in his last fight. He's going to make more money fighting Shakur Stevenson than the guy who beat Cordina. Cordina's getting an opportunity to make even more money and fight for a world title and possibly win a world title. Of course, Shakur is favored, but it's boxing. Let me just put that out there. It's boxing. Things happen. You never know. Okay? But I am going for Shakur Stevenson to beat Cordina, who is coming from 130 pounds, fighting arguably the best 135-pounder out there. With that being said, this isn't Shakur Stevenson's fault. Now, I am one of those guys who believes in activity. I don't believe in fighters fighting once a year, sitting back, resting, or sitting back watching all the other guys fight and beat each other, and then you come back and you time it where the guy's been through fights, the guy's been through wars, now you decide to fight. I don't like any of that. I don't like to sit there, and I don't like boxers who waste time and then they fight and they look rusty and they lose to someone they probably shouldn't have lost to. Okay? I'm for activity. And although I disagree with this fight with Joe Cordina, I am for activity. Activity is what keeps a boxer sharp. That's why when we compare fighters of the old to fighters of the new, I am always 99.9% going to go with the older fighter based on activity, based off being sharp, based off being and studying their craft and what they do, all right? That's what I'm all for. So I don't have an issue with Shakur Stevenson fighting Joe Cordina based off of that. Again, I don't agree with Cordina getting a title shot, a title that he could possibly win, and it would be an upset. But on the flip side, I don't have a problem with activity. Activity is what keep you sharp, and that's what Shakur is doing. He's staying busy, he's staying training, and he's keeping himself sharp. You can't be the best boxer fighting once a year. You just can't. You can't. I know that Terrence Crawford is older now. I know that he's older. But you saw what he looked like fighting once a year. You saw what he looked like, not taking away anything from Madrimov. Madrimov is a great fighter, talented fighter, tricky, crafty fighter. But if Terrence Crawford was more active, who knows what that fight would have looked like. Tank Davis fighting once a year. Probably not going to fight this year. He fought Frank Martin coming off a long layoff. Errol Spence is coming off an even longer layoff than Crawford. And we saw how Crawford looked coming off a devastating win, an easy win off Spence. How do you guys think Spence is going to look? If Crawford looked bad in his last fight, how do you think Spence is going to look coming from a beatdown the way he took and a longer layoff? You have to stay active, boxers. Listen, you have to stay active. It's just like your average Joe trying to stay in shape. If you're trying to stay in shape and be healthy, you can't work out once a week. You can't work out twice a week. You need to work out at least 3 or 4 times a week, if possible, 5 days a week. If you're training smart, 6 or 7 days a week. That's what these boxers need to do when it comes to fighting, comes to boxing. Stay in the gym, stay training, watch your diet, stay active, and fight who is available and who wants to fight you. If the big stars don't want to fight you, then you move on. You don't wait. If Lomachenko don't want to fight Shakur, move on. If Tank Davis don't want to fight Shakur, move on. Frank Martin and all these other guys that people are mentioning from 140 pounds to 135 pounds. I mean, you got fans out there talking about fights that Shakur should have with guys that are 140 pounds when he's 135 pounds. It doesn't make any sense. At all. So I'm trying to figure out why people are placing blame on Shakur. If he's boring to you, don't watch him. If you think he makes you fall asleep, if you don't think he's exciting, if you want to watch an all-out brawl and you know that's not what you're going to get from Shakur, then you know what to do. You know what to do? Don't watch him. Again, I've said it many times. Boxing is a sweet science. It's not a street fight. It's not a brawl. It's not a bar fight. It's not a club fight. It's not a fight in the parking lot. It's not an MMA fight. It's not a bare knuckle fight. It's not Muay Thai. This is boxing, where it is hit and not get hit. And in boxing, when you're fighting and you're learning, your first line of defense is always your feet. That's what you're taught. It's your feet. You got to learn how to move. When you get into the gym, the trainers, when it's your first time, first thing he tries to teach you is balance and footwork. Basic footwork. Without the footwork, you can't throw proper punches. And it just so happens that Tank Davis has mastered his version of defense, which is his feet. So look, some people bob and weave. Some people block very good. Some people, parry very good. Some people sidestep very good. Some people, pivots, give you angles very good. Fighters have certain traits that they're good at. Shakur has mastered footwork. Side to side, backing up, So at times, keeping his distance at a far level where you can't hit him, but he just hit you and now he's out the way. That is not Shakur's fault. If the fighter that he's in there fighting cannot figure him out, don't place blame on Shakur Stevenson. You place blame on the fighter who can't beat him, the trainer who can't figure out a game plan for his fighter. Calvin Ford, Tank Davis's trainer, out of his own mouth, said in an interview, why should we fight Shakur Stevenson when we're not going to be able to do what we want to do against Shakur? Now, why would you say that? You know what that means? You can't figure out a way to beat him. That right there is telling me that it is a duck, and I'm not calling Tank Davis a duck because I know Tank Davis wants to fight Shakur Stevenson. I know Tank Davis wants to fight Loma. Sometimes the team don't have the confidence, and it's an investment. They're making money off of Tank Davis. These promotional companies, these managers, these trainers, they're all making money off of Tank Davis. They need him to keep winning. And it's not Shakur Stevenson's fault that nobody wants to fight him. So you fight who your promoter wants you to fight. If your promoter say we got Joe Cordina available, then you fight that guy. Now, I would have liked for Shakur Stevenson to face the guy who beat Joe Cordina, Anthony Casasi, right? I would rather that at least he's the one who beat Joe Cordina. But whatever. For whatever reason, it's Joe Cordina. There it go. It's a stay busy fight. I don't have an issue with it. Now, Oscar De La Hoya, the thong master, he says that Shakur Stevenson is the greatest fighter he's ever seen. And I don't know if he was trying to sell a upcoming Zepeda fight in the future or at the time. I don't know. I would have rather see Shakur Stevenson fighting Zepeda. But for some reason, it's not happening. And I'm pretty sure it's because of Oscar De La Hoya. I'm guessing. I don't know. Maybe they want Shakur Stevenson to get a couple of more wins. Hopefully, they're exciting wins. Then they could sell the Zepeda fight. I don't know what their plan is. But Oscar De La Hoya, I know it's subjective. And I know that you are the grandmaster of thongs. I know that you like to dance in G-strings and have the thong right up the crack of the cheeks. But listen, I'm going to disagree with you. Shakur Stevenson, in my opinion, is not the greatest boxer of all time that you've ever seen. And I know you're trolling. He can't be better than Pernell Whitaker, who beat you, who got cheated out of beating you. He can't be better than Cesar Chavez, who you beat when he was an old man. He can't be better than Shane Mosley, who beat you twice. He can't be better than Bernard Hopkins, who beat you. So, I get it. You want to try to sell fights and you want to try to get yourself... You promote yourself more than you promote Zepeda. I mean, I don't know. Just don't do a thong dance with Zepeda. Zepeda, if you're out there and Oscar De La Hoya approaches you and he says, hey, Zepeda, I'm going to do an Instagram live and I'm going to be in my thongs. This time I'm going to wear the Golden Boy thongs. Would you like to dance in my video with me? But just say no. Walk away and say no. Just say no. Because dancing in thongs, this generation, I've never heard of a promoter selling fights by dancing in a thong. It's weird to me. The MOBC disagrees with that tactic. The MOBC, we don't believe that Shakur Stevenson is the greatest fighter to ever step in the ring. We don't believe that he's the greatest fighter that Oscar has ever seen. And we, the MOBC, my own boxing community believes that Oscar De La Hoya was just trolling, trying to get attention out there so he can try and sell a Zepeda fight. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is the MOBC, my own boxing community.